if you want to head, no problem.
I'm good.
Hey.
Is it working yet? Okay.
Yes, it is working. It's 28 millimeter RPG. Rick here. And with me is Crispy and Mr. Max himself. Hey guys.
Right on.
Yay. For this Monday,
Sorry, guys.
we got some wonderful music in the background.
No, that's my Christmas ringtone. I apologize. Sorry about that. I'm getting in this. I'm getting in the spirit. Holy smokes!
Nice.
Every time it's something with
Nice.
me. I tell you.
Well, yeah, that's the way it goes.
It's just the way it is.
Right. But yeah, of course we're late there, Mr. Magnus Trigger. Yeah, I had to do a little bit of canoodling to get this thing to work here. Unfortunately, what I wanted to do was take this screen, this video here, and what I wanted to do was put it at, like ×2 speed and that sort of stuff. But in order to do that, I have to use an external application. And unfortunately, for some reason, it's not working. So I couldn't get the audio to come through. So here we are. We're using StreamYard and checking it out. And it's going to be at regular speed. So, but this is an older version of of what we were doing. As you can see, we don't have the little, like the only one that has any kind of cool looking, avatar and stuff like that is Big Bad right now. And, I'm not even sure if we're even using I'm not even sure we're using Dice Roller on here, like a, Sophie's Dice. So, which is interesting, but because we started using that a little bit later, and got the rest of the gang showing up here. Hey guys, and of course we have the welcome wagon.
Yeah,
who's
the comment moderator?
The comment moderator,
That's
and
right.
So these sessions were pre-Crispy. And these are the ones when we had the group escaping the this is just right after the you guys were escaping the ruins, and you had just rescued all the people, and you were kind of guiding them through the ruins, the underdark ruins there, and getting them to safety. So I want to go through basically how I was changing my game mastering style in order to become more of the 3D game master. So currently, as it stands, we'll just say I'm not even a 3D role player, as I'm indicating on the corner here with the watermark. I was still a 2D role player, trying to get myself to that 3D mark. And if anybody has any questions about, well, what are you talking about? 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D players? Well, 1D role play is basically when a player just rolls the dice and says a few little quirps in the middle of the game session. He's just there kind of sitting and waiting patiently and waiting for the game master to say, roll the dice. And that's what that's all about. 2D gameplay is what you would normally see on YouTube nowadays, where the players interact with each other out of character as well. And, it's a lot of extra filler time, just the players quirping with each other out of character. And there's a lot of mechanics talk. None of the players are actually in like full character. There might be one or two that'll speak in character when it's their turn, and then ask the game master, do I roll the 3d6 or the 2d6? That's exactly what 2D is all about. 3D play, role playing is when the players become the characters. They don't necessarily have to have a voice, or use a voice or anything, but they talk as if they are that character. And they don't mention anything about the mechanics. It's basically very quick. The game master says, roll a d20 skill check or whatever it is, real quick, and it's done. We did experiment a little bit with a way to alleviate some of my asking for rolls by using a little text prompt. We tried little things like that, just to experiment and to see if that works. There was some things that worked and didn't work, but you know, it's all part of how we're trying to figure out how to get from that 3D and get ourselves into that 4D role play. And that's something that we're trying to strive for, and embracing our character, no matter what it is, and becoming that character, making decisions as that character, even embracing some of the more, the more emotional quirks of that character. It could be maybe the character is suffering some form of a brain damage, so you have to play the character, being somewhat quirky, but in such a way that it makes that character memorable through the experience. Or maybe that character is truly evil, has some forms of kind of malevolence in their character, but they play with the party as a participator in order to gain their own goals during this entire session. Stuff like that. You want to fully embrace that role play and become that character in the game, and it helps suck everybody else into that experience as well. And Crispy, if you start seeing comments and stuff, go ahead and flash them up on the screen if you see something of relevance. That'd be cool.
Yep.
You shall be our moderator.
Fun. I've done it once before. An expert now.
You're an expert. You know how to do it. So as we go through this, I don't know if we're gonna play this whole thing, but we'll go through some of it, and I can explain some of the things, or you can also pick out things that you may want to say about it. If you do have something to say, put your hand up, Max or Crispy, and let me know to stop it, and I'll do that.
Oh, like just in the video? Okay, got it.
Yeah. When I start playing the video here. But anyways, let us. Okay, did I actually set the scene? We're basically the players leaving, still underground, but making their way out to escape. I believe Mick is mixed up in some form of combat with the, if you can recall that time, Mr. Max. He was mixed up in combat while the rest of you were escaping down through the catacombs. So I believe that is where we are. So let's continue on here. So Calrissian sees ahead of him the group of stragglers that have been rescued going through the catacomb wall, secret entrance. Karnwick is helping them through, and as you are observing this, you hear a mighty battle cry up above, with the clash of weapons from whence you came.
I pull my glowing sword and say, "Keep going!"
And they keep on running everybody through.
And I follow behind.
And Bernier.
I'm at the back of the group, and I decided that I was leaving, running. So that's what I'm doing. I'm following the group, and I keep my eye open if I can find a torch.
You you check around the chamber in this location, and okay, so I'm going to stop it here. Now, this is where now you see me intercede, and I say that you are doing this and doing that. This is what I'm going to say. Still, I am still in the 2D mode. I am giving you more freedom than a regular game master in 2D would normally give their players. However, I am taking over the narrative, which is kind of a no-no. I have to let you guys as the players just say what you're doing, and then I leave it at that, and I should only be describing the vicinity around you as you interact with the environment. And this was really, really hard for me to beat out of myself.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Rick, but there's some good things here just in this first few minutes. Like, so Big Bad, his turn was excellent. He said where he was. He says he pulls out his shining sword and says, and then he yells something to the other. That's great. That's all the components are there. Max, I thought your turn was great too. I'm at the back. He's putting himself in the world. Here's where I am. And as I follow, I am looking for torches. So that's great. That's perfect. I think both of those turns, short, right to the point. Your descriptions, Rick, were fine. It's just that you were saying you did this. You said Cʀᴜsᴜ sees this. You could have just said, just describe what was there. And
exactly.
Then I did hear this too. I said, as you're doing this, you observe this, you hear this as you were doing this. And that's something that we're trying to move away from that.
Exactly.
That's something you had, Rick, at the time, and you're moving away from that quite a bit now. Like fast moving away a bit, but you used to like reiterate a lot what our description. You would like re-narrate, and just we already like said what we do. Like now, but you would and I think that's the whole point of like taking the you out of your language as a GM, solve all of those issues. And
it does.
That's something I noticed, like the big change. Like I can tell that you're trying to step away from that. Like, winning it, but it's hard. There are a bit to beat out of you.
Yes, but yes. I did think that the players did great. Both of those turns were excellent.
Yeah. I could tell. Now I can tell there's a huge difference between the way you play now, Mr. Max, and compared to this. You have improved exponentially as a player in being. I think it was kind of like a trust thing, maybe.
Yeah.
That you weren't trusting that I was going to, look out for your character kind of idea. Like
I think
whether or not
when you start like working with a new GM, you always have to establish like this connection at some point and know like where the boundaries are. And as we work together, and like I say, okay, I can just say what I'm doing, and like I don't need to go to over explain because he's gonna get it. If he doesn't, I'm just gonna add something in the next turn. But on the first episode, especially in the first session, and a little less every session, but there was this trust building up, and then I can just say like focus on like, okay, that's what I'm doing, and this is what I'm saying.
That was it was a very this is why I like to keep my sessions up, so that I can look back and say, okay, I've come from here. And I'm getting gradually better and better, and I'm improving in these ways, and hopefully other people pick up on it or can grab some form of reference so that they can, if they wish to pursue this style of full-on role play. Now, this is not taking out any of the mechanics or anything. We're still using die rolls. Except we're not using die rolls frivolously. I would say anything that a thief can respectively do at a low level, Bernier can do without a die roll. However, if there is some form of pressure while he is doing it, that is when a die roll should be required. So, and that was kind of the effect that I was trying to keep within the flavor of this Castles and Crusades game. So we're not altering the rules, but we're making it so that, you know, if there is no pressure, you should be able to do what you need to do. You should be able to pick that lock. You should be able to disarm that trap. Mind you, add some pressure, a die roll, definitely. This is what's this? This is the process of.
It says is the process of taking the U. So that we're talking about here. Is the process of taking the U out more finding a mindset or just brute forcing out a bad habit? I think it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's both.
It's both. I think it's a good comment because it's like, well, what is the difference? Well, I think it's for me at least, when I start getting into that habit of you, it's so easy to fall into that over narration, and also it's very simple. It's not a big step. If I'm already saying you, to start moving characters around, to start telling you how your character feels, which I personally don't like.
Exactly.
I prefer you to take that initiative rather than me just telling you this. So
yeah,
that's
you're becoming
a good
like
question, though. Yeah,
it's easy to start like controlling the character.
It is
when you use the you, like you teleport them, you say, okay, you do this, you know, like, and this is a bad habit for the GM.
It's a bad habit.
And there's stuff that is like, you know, we say like to avoid also saying how you see this or you hear this, and just say like, well, there's chant going on in the background in the distance, right? You don't need to say you hear chants, right?
No.
And
the sounds of battle carry over the air. That's it. Like
exactly.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
See,
exactly.
I think
there's a brisk wind blowing, right? Just like
But with our last, with our last two sessions, what I did was I stopped referencing anything. I just said matter of factly, this is occurring. This is occurring. This is in front of you. I stopped even saying you. I stopped saying pretty much. I may reference a character name once in a while, in order to indicate a directed, ocular. Like I want to make sure it's to you, Max, as Bernier. So I would say Bernier. And then I would say, there is darkness all about. You hear the creepy, crawly noises in the background.
Except you wouldn't say you hear. You would just say,
yeah, there is.
You would see
creepy noises in the background.
Creepy, crawly in the background. You see, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. You know.
And I think the thing is like you want to avoid using you or even the name of the character as the subject of the sentence.
Yes.
You can say he's targeting you, he's targeting Bernie and stuff like that. That's fine. You know, that's part of the description. And when you use like you feel, you hear, and stuff like that, this is not great. I don't think it's as harmful as if you teleport the character or if you say what they're doing and stuff like that. But you're still like using you as the subject of the sentence, and it's like the slippery slope. You know, it's easy to slip back. So it's better to avoid it and give a better description. Give like description or more dynamic and more like in narrator mode as well. Just like doing narration. But it is hard to do.
It's really hard to do. It's really hard to do because what you're trying to do is you're trying to just be the camera, and it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to just be the camera.
So this is three I believe this is 3 sessions before we started rebroadcasting our sessions, actually, like, posting them.
Well, let's get some more. I'm anxious to see more of this.
You want to see what happened, eh?
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting. Mind you, there was some awesome role play which comes up within the next couple of sessions. Well, there's some going on here, but within the next couple of sessions. And Crispy, I do rely on you to go ahead and read the comment down below,
Sure,
because
I will.
on my screen I have this little forwards button and a volume button, which is totally in the way of that. So it's totally
So yeah,
bonking.
I can see that. So the next comment is it's hard to be the camera, especially when the camera can use all senses, which is true. I find it especially hard to describe taste and smell without you.
Yeah,
That's hard. That is hard to do. I agree. And isn't it just semantics? You see smell here X versus there's X, X, X. The advantage of the change, in my opinion, it's a good comment. I like the comment. I think it's more just building a hedge around the tendency of so many game masters to take control of characters. That's really what we're talking about. You're, in a sense, it really. I do think it's punchier descriptions if you can just take the you out of it and you just say that this is what exists. But more than that, we're just trying to build a fence around this idea of the game master taking control of characters. That's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Good comment. Appreciate that comment.
So anything I can add to that? I did have a thought, but it escaped me for now. So yes, let's go ahead and continue on watching this. I don't know. Maybe I should upload all 3 episodes as kind of like a Christmas thing. Like here you go.
Well,
enjoy.
I remember the session after this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think was a very good one.
Oh yes,
the trek in the wood.
Yeah,
this one was fun as well. But then the one following that was pretty amazing.
We kind of got the opening few seconds of this, Rick. Do you have a part of this particular game session that stood out to you that you want to focus in on? Like, what should we jump to?
We could jump. I think what I was focusing on here was making. What was it? I was still trying to pull myself out, trying to give you guys more leeway, but I was still having the problem with the you and taking control of the player's senses. So we can continue on here and take a look. And if you say you want it to go on, just do this, and I'll fast forward.
Let's do it. I made some notes already. Let's go.
You do see a wall sconce.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for some physical, like a real torch with fire. If we drop one at some point, or if there's, so that's as I run,
Mick,
that's what I'm looking
Mick, you do your attack.
I use combat sense and I get ready to swing with my battle axe.
Roll.
Max wants some.
Okay.
Yeah. Like this torch interaction there, you see, that's an example of where the you could have solved that, because I said, as I run, I'm looking for torch, right? If you just had said there are those magical sconces on the wall, and we can just keep going, because that's what I'm looking for. I was looking for a specific because I wanted to burn something. I was looking for fire actually, because we're lighting up stuff with the and but now you kind of try to answer my question by you see that, which didn't answer my question, because that's what I was looking for. If you just had said the room is lit by those magical sconces, then all right, and just keep going. That's not what I'm looking for, so we don't need to stop. So, but now, because you said you see that, and I felt like you were trying to answer my question by that, if I probe for something, then I had to specify well, that's not what I'm looking for, right? So that's an advantage of taking out the you and staying narrator mode.
I think what you could have done was said, Bernier says, "Damn, that's not a lit one. That's what I'm looking for."
Yeah,
or something like that.
That would have been much better. Say something in character, "Fuck, and I can't find real fire anymore." Or something
that's right. These stupid lights have no heat. Yeah.
That would have been much better.
Yeah. This is totally for all of us. We're all still learning, advancing, achieving goals. As far as our role play goes. but it is kind of, I like looking back at it and seeing where we kind of fell, but how we've improved in our latest sessions is just like it's almost night and day almost with what we have going now.
So let's see what happens here with Mick. Okay, we got dice rolling. That's a bad roll. Big Bad doesn't like it.
11.
You strike at the cultists, and they are.
So hold on. Can we just stop here? I know that we're probably only going to get through like 5 minutes of this, but I just want to point out here. I'm sensitive to the fact that I can criticize Max because he's a big boy. He can take it. And I don't want to be too harsh on Spencer here. So, because we're all learning, but did he describe his attack? He just said he was getting ready to swing his axe, right? Or you said that.
Yes.
So at what point did he role play swinging the axe?
He did not. This went right to a swing and a miss or a swing and a hit, and like. Well, you see, it was me who was rolling for the opposition, so I was rolling for any kind of counter attack, which was a 2.
So they were trying to attack him. Okay.
Spencer is rolling on his end. He's just rolling a die on the on his desk. So that's how he's doing it, and I'm waiting for him to.
I apologize for my ignorance. Is this an opposed roll situation? Like he's rolling and then the other guy has to roll to see if he can defend, or is like that?
So what I was doing is more or less a morale roll for the opposition.
See if they panic and run?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So he will have totally control of this situation on hand, but that kind of plays out. But yeah, you see me still directing.
So did you directed him to swing? Like, was that what happened there? Like, I was just trying to figure out that.
He was okay. So his mistake. Well, keep in mind, Spencer's totally new to this.
Oh yeah, totally.
Try to role play. So people out there don't
take it easy on the guy.
He's new,
just learning, right?
and he has to at this time. He still has to learn to say what he is doing.
Okay.
And not what he thinks he wants to do.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry to derail it so much. I just I wasn't quite sure who was moving who and what was happening there.
Yeah. And then, of course, you see me come in and compensate for him and continue on moving him in order to help him along. Right. But the thing is, I should be still just narrator and not helping characters along in their actions. I should be letting the players do their actions, and then I should only be describing the environment around them and how the NPCs react.
Yeah, and at that time also we hadn't discussed that, because sometimes like before the game we discussed like things we wanted to try and improve and stuff like that. And now like we kind of established, like you say like it's a hit, and then we describe the hit and stuff like that. We describe what we do, and it's working much better even for Spencer.
Yes,
but at that time it wasn't clear yet. So you still like he rolls dice, and it's still you like describing the attack, the action, the result. Like
yeah.
So it was before we kind of established this process a little more.
That's fair. I do think that there's a good lesson here for all of us, is that when you have a player that's new, let's say, and he's not quite proactive as Spencer's way more proactive now than what he was here. But the tendency for the game master to step in, all of us have done this, I'm sure, and try to compensate for a player that's being passive is probably not going to help that player become a better role player. If you want to have a 3D table, you can't just you have to let people, give them the space so that they can actually play it. And if they don't play it, then they're not doing anything. And unfortunately for them, that means that they're not going to get as much out of the experience until they learn how to be a little more proactive. But the longer that we try to take up the slack as a game master and say, well, no, I'll just make it better for you, the slower that progress is going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I did notice that with Spencer too in the modern game, like he makes much more effort to describe his attack. Like he's gonna describe like, oh, I swing over my head, I like try.
Yeah, he
like,
does.
he vary like the type of give
Yeah.
like some image.
As a game master, as it today now, I don't mind it if you say, for example, Bernier, if you describe your action as, I jump up towards the wall in order to get leverage onto my attack and come down upon the opponent, I'll tell you to go ahead and roll a dexterity check first for your little, pirouette off the wall, and then roll a strike. So that's how I would solve that. I do not want to get out of the way of the players' dynamics. If they want to be leaping off of walls or using a pillar to their advantage, grab onto it, swing around, using my legs to kick and offset the opponent. That's awesome. Those are really cool things, and I think a game master should promote that in the game system, no matter what, even though it's not something that is written in the book. It's something cool that you can use. I mean, if you fail, you fail. if you do,
I have a reply to the comment that you just highlighted briefly there.
Yeah, I thought I would highlight this because it is an important point. Just to read it out here for Rick. The perennial problem is RPG mechanics. Players can only describe up to a point because they don't know what the full effects of an action like attacking will be. And I did respond to this just in the text, but Max, go ahead.
I'd say like that's one of the reasons why I'm like in this game where you attack against a static AC, right? That's not really going to change. That's why I'm in favor of telling the player the AC, because then you can, like, if I want to make an attack, I can just, like, when my turn comes, I can just make my roll. I don't need to tell the GM and stuff like that because I'm going to attack, and then I know the result because I know what number I need to hit. And also on the first time I made the math already, and then I know that I need to roll at 8 or a 10 or 11 to it, right? Just like depending on a monster. I don't need to add my modifier every time then, because I kind of subtracted a modifier from the AC that I'm of the target. But then I can just roll my dice and describe right away what's happening. If it's a success, if it's a hit, if it's a hit, I can roll my damage right away and describe, like, go right in the description. It eliminates this interaction. I rolled that, okay, you hit, okay, now roll my damage, I make that much damage, like it eliminates all that the back and forth, that mechanical back and forth in a sense, right?
Yeah.
The number don't need to be spoken more than once. You just, like, you told me, like, and you can make compromise, like, okay, the first hit I tell you the EC and stuff like that, like, whatever, that's fair. But then for all the subsequent round, it goes very fast. Oh, I try to stab in my dagger, but he move away, and, like, we can, and then we can move on. I roll shittily. We don't need to talk about number. We can, So I know it's kind of controversial. People want to keep the AC hidden, but, like,
you can do it. I can do it either way. Sure. I do it a little differently, but my main point here to Primeval Fantasy is just that you're right. A player should not take their description as license to assume a die roll, or assume a result. You're just talking about what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's assumed that you will describe right up to the point where there's a chance of failure. Then we roll a dice. And depending on the result, the way I handle it, Max, just a little different. I describe successes, so I'll go right into, like, the player, as soon as I kind of give them the notification that's then before I go into it, they'll tell me what the damage was because they roll that always at the same time, and then I'll go into the description. If it's a failure, they narrate their failures at my table, so I would just say failure, and then they take it from there. So they'll go. So that's how we do it. There is a little bit more out of character talk in the way I'm doing it, but it doesn't seem to be too disruptive.
It's always a compromise to be made.
It's a compromise.
Like, there's no exactly, like, it's where you want to put the line, and, like, I'm not saying, like, one way is better than the other necessarily, because, like I say, like, revealing the AC does take something away in a sense. For me, it's worth it. For other people, it's not. That's fair, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll notice when we start to get into other mechanics, a couple of them that I've been prompting us to go for, which is the Traveler system. Traveler will have there will be an actual things telling you what you need to hit, what you need to succeed. In other words, so there will be that included in as we play, so you'll actually be able to visually see what number you need to reach. Same with the same with Cipher system. If we decide to do Cipher, it will have the same thing. You will know exactly what you need to achieve, and you make
target
your roll.
number
It should
times
be all
3
good.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Challenge
Yeah.
rating
Yeah.
times
So
3.
Well,
yeah.
even in Castleton Crusading, technically now that, and especially the way we do it, if you're not doing an attack, you're trying a skill check, you need to hit 18, right? That's and
Yes.
then you and sometimes you did say like, well, roll with +2 or -2, whatever, and
Yes.
then
You can have that.
that's good enough, right?
Yeah.
So Rick, I'm going to make a proposal here. Why don't we give us 2 minutes uninterrupted of the gameplay? Then
Okay.
we'll pause there and we'll just kind of go and maybe do a bit of just so we can get a little more, because we've only gotten like 30 seconds. Like we should probably
Yes.
get more into this.
For
But
sure.
I guess like
for sure.
we're not going to repeat the same.
But No, we're not going to
interaction
go
every
like
time,
whatever we
so,
said here. We're not going to go over again. Like,
Yeah.
we'll look for new things.
Yeah. All righty. Let's go for it. Cowering in fear as they're being hit. Screaming in pain as you cleave into one. Damage.
Five.
5. The cultist goes down, screaming, choking. The other ones around him whirl around in confusion, trying to get an assessment of their surroundings. Now, keep in mind, this is what happened the previous game, previous session. There was a thunderclap, which the priestess emitted, which caused confusion. And I rolled for what I was rolling that 2 for was on the die roll was for the as Spencer's attacking them as they're like trying to come to their senses. Spencer has. I just wanted to see whether or not they would just bolt or what. So it's kind of like their morale.
Let's keep going.
Meantime, the gnome heads on down towards the group as well, trying to keep pace with everyone, passing Bernier. Cʀᴜsᴜ.
I look back as I hear sounds in the distance and I swing my glowing sword. If you're back there, just follow the light.
The rest of you hear that call out. Bernier.
As I hear the fight and they're like, I yell, Mick, come with us. Let them be. And I keep following the group.
Perfect. Mick.
I turn around and start running towards the group.
Making your move down the hallway. Mick heads down the stairs. Bernier sees Mick descending.
I'm coming!
And Mick passes Bernier with his rush. Cʀᴜsᴜ, you notice that the last of the people have gone through the secret passage.
I just wait a moment longer. This is your last chance. Come on, come through. I start crawling through. Sheathe my sword.
Calrissian makes his way over top of the sarcophagus, diving into the secret spot and behind it.
Okay. So a couple things there from me on this, and Max, I'm sure you'll weigh in. Some great examples there of good 3D play for sure, with players calling to one another, and here's what I'm doing. I'm waving my sword. There was an abnormally long pause while damage was being rolled. So I think that's just a thing of, hey, our table convention is you roll damage with your attack roll always, and just always do that and get in the habit of that. So we're not waiting for that. There was just at the very end where I called time on that. I don't recall Big Bad saying that he moved. So this definitely was the castle keeper moving the player. I think. Is that right? Is that fair, Rick? Or is that, am I
think he
that?
mentioned that he was going to go through.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I just thought, okay, well, I don't remember him describing him climbing over the sarcophagus.
No. The sarcophagus thing was something of a remainder from the last session. I'm not sure. I think we did a little discussion before this session got started. So I did kind of re-inform everybody of what happened with the last.
It was good. I thought there were some great interactions there in that little snippet. I thought that was really good.
Yeah. It could have went a little bit faster, but keep in mind, I'm not going by. I don't have a script in front of me. I'm making up a lot of stuff as they're going along, because in a sense, I don't know. I never know what the players' actions are going to take them. So it could have been something like they had gone up, they fight the all the cultists, and they decide to remain up on top and check things out and keep on going. It could have been, but I knew that you guys were filing out the prisoners, and I thought maybe you were going to let Caldwell take the prisoners out on his own or something like that.
So one other, just my last comment, and then Max can say if he has any comments. Whenever the person running the game mentions the character's name, I assume as the player that's my character's turn. So there was a moment there where you said the gnome runs by Bernier, and then I expected it to be Bernier's turn, because you just described something that happened right next to Bernier. So that's just how I handle it. This is just a style difference. If I say your character's name, more often than not, that's because it's your turn, and I'm now looking for you to take your turn.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I was playing that, if I was Max there in that moment, I would have been, okay, so it's my turn, because he just said the gnome runs by me. So I have a chance to interact with the gnome or not, or whatever.
But right away when you went to Calrissian.
But you went right from Bernier, mentioning Bernier, gnome, like, because I was like, what? Does it matter that is he going to run?
Yeah, I was going like I do a circle. I think we did Mick, and then I did the NPCs, and then it goes back to Calrissian again.
This is maybe nitpicking, Rick, but I would just say that I would save that description for when it was Bernier's turn.
I like what we did with our last session.
With the images?
With the images.
I do too. I think that's great.
You got. What did you think of that, Max? Where I had the images coming up when it was your turn.
For me, like it came like very transparent, so I guess it was good. You know, like I didn't feel like it was like it almost like didn't notice it. It felt like very natural in a sense.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that helped. That helped me keep the pace of the rounds, instead of looking at a piece of paper or looking at the screen and seeing your characters, your faces, and going that way. But it's there's little ways that you can shortcut things and make them a little less gamey, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I like what Crispy's mentioning about, like, when the character's name is mentioned, like something happened, like it's almost like he got a chance to reply, to respond, right?
Yeah,
whatever happened.
Yeah, that's what
because I don't tend to do, when I run, I don't tend to do like the round robin strictly speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I go because I let I'm much more free form on the time. I let people if you want to give me like a longer description of stuff you're doing, all right, but then it's gonna take longer before I come back to you. Once you're interrupted or once you're done with that, right? I'm gonna go. So I'm much more like free. I'm trying to be much more free flowing with the turn, right?
Gotcha.
You want something like dig a hole that's gonna take 10 minutes. All right, come back to you later.
Right.
He's digging a
unless
hole.
you decide to stop because you're tired and well. I'll tell you when the hole is done or when something is interrupting you, right?
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. But for myself as a game master, I find it's easier for me to kind of do the round, go around, so everybody has their turn, and then when I do reach you again, Bernier, if Bernier's still digging a hole, it'll be chipping through the dirt, kind of idea. So making the sound effects and all that kind of stuff. So
and also the round robin might also be easier for online play because it's harder to interrupt and stuff like that. You don't want to speak over each other. So.
Yeah, there's always that delay and everything too, so it always makes it a little awkward sometimes. All right. As he appears into the room with the gold sconces that were up, he sees the rest of the group, 4 women, 3 men, and a number of children amongst them, cowering in fear, wondering where they are. Oh, this is not natural. Where is this place?
Keep going or you're going to be dead.
And Cʀᴜsᴜᴜᴇs ends up going up against the wall, trying to figure out how to open it from the one side.
You'll back to a Bernay. Bernay, we need your expertise. Get in here.
That was good. I like that.
I rush over there, look at the wall, try if I can figure it out.
After clambering through, Bernier makes his way into the room, seeing the number of children and people around, looking confused and distraught. He approaches the door, the secret door entryway, praising how to get past it. And you find a secret panel.
Wait, time.
Okay.
So is this something that Rick and again, this is the epitome of Monday morning quarterbacking here, but would that normally be a place like I see Bernier held up his dice
normally there would be a roll, but I remembered that they had gone through this way before, so I wasn't going to go just because Caldwell is not a thief at all and has no idea. And obviously, Bernier has the experience.
So he just walks up and is like, "What's right there, you idiot?"
And I'm like,
stand aside.
Yeah.
You must be new here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mick. Mick.
Is he frozen?
Nick is here.
There he is.
He's with the people, helping shepherd them through the hallway.
That's fine. That's good. That's a good turn.
Yep. And
that's fine.
The gnome follows in behind Mick, going in through the secret passageway as well.
I thought the gnome passed Bernier already.
You find the
Bernier moved to the front.
Yeah,
so they passed.
You're
him.
all in a room basically. Okay. Yeah, with the sconces.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm missing that background information. Okay. Because the gnome is important here, is what I'm getting. Is that the gnome's actually like Cal? There's Cal.
The gnome was a player that was absent on the session.
Oh, I see. Okay, and so this is
played by Josh. Yeah.
So Josh had a player, and Josh wasn't in the session. Okay, makes sense. Okay, yep, good.
The secret entrance.
Yep. I'm gonna wait until everybody went through, and before I go through, I try to look if I can close the door, after I pass it and disable the mechanism. I want to comment on that.
So
I don't agree it's a great turn.
through.
I don't agree it's a great turn because I project too much in the future. There,
It is a
right?
bit of a time violation. Yeah, I was
It's a bit
going
of
to
a
say.
violation.
But what I
And
took
that-
it as, you're just, this is what you're thinking. Like that would be to make that from a good turn to a great turn would be that you told that to Cʀᴜsᴜᴜ in dialogue.
That would improve a lot. But also, that's also come from like the trust that was slowly building up. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
like quite sure yet.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't want to, because like that's the thing when the game master move your character, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where you're gonna be on your next turn. You don't know what's
Right.
gonna happen next turn, right?
So if you don't trust
So-
your, I see
So
what
you
you're
don't
saying.
trust your thing. But if
Mhm.
if we had this trust built up already, I could have said like, okay, I'm waiting for everybody to pass, and that would have been my turn. And then when it
Mhm.
comes back to me and everybody passed,
You'd
like
still be
everybody
there.
passed, okay, you were waiting for there, you're still there.
Yep.
Then I could have said what I'm doing, right?
Yep.
So there's this thing, that's self-criticism I would
Mhm.
make there. I'm
Mhm.
not too happy with that turn.
It's it's good because you had, like I said, Max, your improvement within these 3 hidden episodes that got us to the ones where I started broadcasting. It's just been phenomenal. So I applaud.
A big part of it is like the communication that we have both. Like I said, like if you when you improve and when you stop like moving the player around, when you stop re-narrating and like describing, well then I can trust you more. And like, okay, I don't need to say like the 10 next step I want to do, because I can have confidence that when it's gonna come back at me again, I'm gonna be at what I was doing before. And that's an important part with the GMing. That's one thing that going in this 3D style of GMing allows. It's a communication, it's a conversation, a dialogue.
Move the opening of the secret door with Cʀᴜsᴜᴜᴜ leading them along. Come, quickly. We must make it out alive. And you hear a couple of them kind of cower and scream slightly as they enter the bone room. Your favorite room, the bone room.
Nothing to be scared of. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go steal some of those crystals from the sconces. Don't worry, it's just some bones.
Yeah, nothing to worry about here, man. Not nothing.
Cʀᴜsᴜᴜ loots the area, the vicinity of the gold engraved sconces.
Grab some for me too.
Sure.
I like gold.
The gnome makes her way through as well, and she hits the panel, reactivating the secret door.
Wait. Bernier is there, I thought. Bernier was waiting until everyone went through the door.
So you're getting to some of my mistakes along the way.
Okay. Yeah, well, we all make those. So that's fine then. Okay, that's fine. It's hard to keep all these things.
That's some of the things is trying to remember what everybody's plans were kind of from the last session, and I'm trying to remember. Of course, this is the beginning of the session, so I'm not quite warmed up.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
and
that's fine.
Yeah, and it's I get a little bit more malleable later on in this session.
Get in the groove.
Yeah. I think it was had some sort of I was having an issue, some sort of I think this was when I was taking some sort of back meds. So I wasn't quite as sparking upstairs
the
as
Robaxacet was setting in, and
it was a little bit more different than Robaxacet. It was some pretty weird stuff. And I can tell you, I couldn't eat spicy food. Otherwise, it was a bad thing. And I love spicy food. So,
but I think there's also a thing to consider. Like when mistake happen, we'll make them sometime. Like when GMing like that describe something, you misinterpret something that the player said, and sometimes you just like roll with it. You know what I mean? It doesn't. It's not a big deal.
No,
okay,
it shouldn't be.
Now that's what's happening, right? Just like I think that's what we're doing there as well, right? We're just like
and considering the gnome could have just donk seen and hit it. I mean gnomes in this kind of experience do know the stone sits kind
So
of
I'd like
thing.
to see. I'd like to see if Bernier reacts to that.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's see if
I
he
don't think I
reacts
did.
to that.
Barney, help me loot this place. Come on.
I'd like to try to block the passage so we cannot be pursued. That's what I'm trying. What I like to do now, man.
Good. Yeah. Good dialogue.
This room is empty, having no other objects in it that would block the passage.
You see, that. I think that's a fair interaction, right? I said I tell to Carl what I'm trying to do.
Yep.
The narrator just say like, we don't need to stop, like, and then I can move on, right?
Yep.
We need to get out of here.
Let's go. I pull my sword and rush forward.
Are you afraid of the dark?
I'm afraid of the people pursuing us.
It's a good answer. I like it. That's good. Good on him for doing that.
And
That's good.
Calrissian, you enter the bone room, seeing seeing Carnwick and the people in there. Carnwick is just approaching the door to open it. As you see him do so, you rush in.
I rush in.
Rush through the door into the hallway, seeing that there is a passageway going straight and one veering to your right.
Say, to the front, Bernie. Don't worry about those people in the back. We're getting out of here. I don't know how to navigate this labyrinth.
The gnome goes, I have everyone. I have everyone.
As I rush forward with the group, I look for two little kids. I pick one under each my arm so we can go a little faster.
Aw.
Nice. I like it.
Carrying two of the kids.
Don't forget the
Underneath
NPCs.
each
That's
arm,
what makes the world
You're
real.
faced with a choice, straight or to the right. Straight ahead
Using my sword as a
is
sword.
the remains of a collapsed wall.
We go to the right. At that point, I was like so fucking lost.
I remember, and you know, if you've seen the map to this, you would go, "Oh my god, this thing is so simple. Why, why was I having so much trouble with this? It was such an easy kind of like a. It was just a square kind of complex. It's very easy to navigate, but just
we
you know,
kept
that
turning in circle.
a theater of the mind, and it makes, and you guys were like, you guys were playing it up, you know, like, we're lost, we need to get out of here, you know. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah,
But-
that's good.
There's
I
also
like
a thing
that
like
too.
for context, like when we went in the dungeon, like Bernie was like trying to take charge and say like, you know what, okay, we're always gonna follow the right wall. Then when we come back, we can always follow the left wall, right? Just like that's standard dungeon procedure. But the gnome was always like running into this room and going left and going right and like
Nice.
and then like
Yeah.
falling down. It's like, man, like, and then like
I like that.
completely lost the sense of direction. So now
Nice.
we're paying for it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think I mentioned it later too. I believe I swear against the.
The gnome for causing all the problems. It's
now
good.
I remember, now there's some combat coming up here and stuff like that,
Right.
but I recall Josh was telling me he was drawing a map, and and you know, to kind of, he was from his theater of the mind, so he was drawing it out.
Mhm.
He showed me what that map looked like. It does not look anything like the map that
Good.
I had made.
Failed
So
successfully.
it it was pretty cool. It was pretty funny. Let's
So,
continue on.
Let's
We got
continue.
some.
I want to see if Max, because Max has done something here in the world. He picked up two little kids that he could carry out so they could move faster. I want to see if he continues with that.
You're leading now, man.
Bernier turns and goes to the right. It's dark.
I'll enter
The light
before it.
from the torch behind you from Calrissian.
Mick, do something,
Mick.
man.
We need to
Yeah, I
figure
was
out a
like
way to
trying
get
to
out of
respect
here.
the round
That's
robin.
blocked. Might as well go right. I start heading towards right.
Bernier travels down the hallway to the right. As you approach the corner leading to an offshoot passage, the corner turns once again to the left, or the option of the offshoot passage at an angle. You do notice with your keen eye, Bernier, that there is streaks on the floor as if something was dragged, bleeding. The blood darkened and caked on the floor in a streak-like manner.
There's something too, like in this in this instance, right? We in the game narrative, we came in the dungeon not that long ago, and
Yes.
like I was, but in the gameplay in real life, it has been like on 3 weeks or something like that, right? So now I'm trying to
Yes.
remember like what we did when we came in, all those little
Oh, the
details and stuff
timeline.
like that of the street. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like that would
So-
still be fresh in my character's mind, but now like as a player, and I think, and not only that, but I think like there was like a break because of your back that we didn't play, so it's actually like a month later, and I'm just like, okay, like those streak on the floor, is that some us that dragged the body for some reason? I remember like I think I did drag a body because I wanted to hide the body at some point, and then we just say, okay, it doesn't matter, they're zombies, but I don't know. I was trying to figure out there.
So the offshoot, the little angular offshoot, is actually your exit out. But
Yeah.
instead, you guys decide to continue on. Like I think you guys go back, in fact, and we'll continue on here. It does get pretty interesting.
That's not fresh blood. I say, Cal, there's blood on the ground. I don't think that's us that did that.
What?
I don't think like we made false route. I don't think we came here.
Put the light to see the blood and see if it's
See the
fresher.
blood. It is not fresh. It has been at least a few days.
See, Max already said it. I would just go with it.
You think this is the wrong way?
Max said it wasn't fresh. Good.
That-
It's
you
not
know,
fresh.
That's why I wanted us to always follow the left wall. But at some point we veered up and we didn't do that. So now, like, how do we fucking get off of here?
I like the
I don't
argument.
know, man, but these people are coming. We got to make decisions quick.
Do you recognize this place?
Look around and see if I recognize.
Now, in my imagination, the cultists are making their way down the stairs, still groggy and dizzy and tending to their wounded. They ended up calling some of their other fellow companions, which were armed, which these men weren't, and they're trying to make their way, looking for where you guys disappeared. So
Okay.
that's what's going on in my head in the background.
So far, this is good.
Recognize it.
Here, how about this? I'll take off to the right and you guys take to the left.
Calrissian, roll a wisdom.
No.
$11 or $8.
This all looks the same to you. See, now, this is where I was going to say if he made his roll, he would realize that offshoot. He remembers it, which is the reason why I made him roll for that situation. So,
Sure.
underground, ruined, spider webs up in the corners.
Spiderwebs. They were close to the top, man. That's where the spiders were last time.
But I don't
Good.
remember seeing any cake blood on the way in.
I don't remember.
I would have
that either.
noticed that.
Hmm.
And it's not fresh, so it's not since we came by. I think we should go back. I think
Double back?
right. Yeah, I think we should double back. I took right when it should have took left.
All right, let's do it then. Sorry up.
One thing we can do, we could go back where the sarcophagi, where the secret opening was. It's a small opening that people need to crawl through. If we wait on the other side, if people pursue us, we can try to get them there.
You're itching for a fight, or we're trying to get out of here quickly?
Good.
I wonder we can ask Cʀᴜsᴜᴇs to take the people out.
I think he's just as lost as we are.
Yeah, but doesn't he know? Does he know his way out, or does he not?
What about this
Mick was-
side
I thought
passage
Mick
over
had
here,
left.
says Cʀᴜsᴜᴇs.
I thought he said he's going left. You're going right. I thought that's.
I'm gonna go
Let's go,
down.
let's go check out the side pack.
No,
That's- that's-
Mick say he said that, but like he didn't. He was saying like, how about that? I'm doing this.
Oh,
and
he
this,
was just
and
saying
that.
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
like a
Yeah,
proposal.
Yeah, nobody was
Proposing it,
actually
but we didn't-
saying,
we didn't
I'm
act
walking
it.
this way.
He didn't actually go to action. This is okay. So he was just dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Side passage.
Got it.
I know stuff like that is really hard to like. Once it took me a while to kind of pick up on it, but I'm here. I'm trying to hone in, trying to listen and
Well, and
see.
play-
I remember what's
yeah.
an action and what is them just talking. So
That's right. But
Yeah.
players also have the responsibility there, Rick, because if we as players, we have to be precise with our language.
Mhm.
I'm talking to if I'm speaking to one of the other players, then I'm gonna make that clear. I'm speaking to another player. If I'm describing my character moving, I have to make it clear that I'm moving there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Up.
Yeah. Let's keep going. See what happens.
You want me to go down by myself?
I'll go down first, cautiously with the light of my
I was
sword.
going to lead the way.
Come on, Nick.
I dropped the children.
Good. He remembered he had the kids. Okay. That's
Yep.
just
Sergey
really
grabs the
good play,
children.
Mac. Like so
I
many
grabbed
times
Nick,
people
throw him
do
to the
something
front.
cool
Come on,
like
let's
that.
go. These people
They'll
are
forget.
coming, man.
Mick,
Right beside you, Cal. Let's go and do this.
Mick and Calrissian take the front. Harnwick has a torch as well to make sure that everyone can see. And you look down the passageway, seeing that it continues on for about 20 feet and ends. Dead end. This was the exit, but the thing had closed already. So, like, behind them.
This may be an instance where you could use that concept of the clue bat. Like, so what I mean by that is that, yeah, the exit's closed, but the air smells fresh, or there's a fresh smell, or the temperature is different. That something, maybe there's some fresh dirt on the ground there, or some roots that are just peeking through if you really wanted this
If I wanted them to exit,
then you can just say that. Like, you definitely don't want to move them there, but you could give them that, just a little hint.
Yeah.
A little bit of a
But there's
fresh air. The torches move there's a bit of a breeze.
There's the NPC that that was with us, and he did mention like, what about this passage there on the left? And he started trying to point us the down.
That's as far as I'm gonna go with directing anybody.
Ignored him, and because it's just like this fucking cake blood that was like days old that I didn't remember saying in the way in. That was just like, but now that I think about it, this cake blood is probably like the previous group that went in that died, right? So it was probably there when we came in, but either it wasn't mentioned or
No,
I just didn't remember that.
I think you guys went with the plan to go with the left side wall and follow that as soon as it came through, and that was the plan. I wasn't able to, describe anything further down that way, looking that way. So that was the direction you went. So
yeah, but like it's like this old blood, like really like, fucking threw me off because like we didn't we didn't see that.
Almost like a red herring, right? You got to be careful with red herrings. Yeah.
I'm gonna look around for hidden doors of any kind.
Brittany, can you see if there's any secret handle or button or anything down over here?
I can look, but do we know where? Like, even if I find something, what is gonna lead us? That's probably not the way we came in. Nothing.
It
close
probably
behind us.
isn't, but we're gonna try and get out of here just as well.
I'd rather like go back and try to find the path that we came through, because this path is most likely clear. We don't want to find new monster.
I'm always up for a fight.
But we have like women, children with us.
Someone make a
Something to
decision.
keep at.
I like it when players remember that there's other complications. Like, so I like when Max says, yeah, but that was when it was just us. Now we have kids, we have women, children. You know, I like that.
That was good. That was good. But Spencer was actually right. This was the exit. All
Yeah,
you
he
needed
was,
to do
yeah.
was find the. And this is where it goes.
But I mean, it's kind of interesting to watch a group that's lost. Like, you're lost.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to see.
Um,
There's some good role play here. Like, I'd say that there's some good 3D play happening right here. Like the players are speaking in character to one another.
There we go. For the players that get the 3D role play, for me, I'm still working on it. So
I mean, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, Rick. I think there was some really good things.
You know, I look at it this way. My goal to become 3D was to pull myself out of the player's actions. So this, like I said, this was my struggle. It took me these 3 sessions to get out of it. Maybe part of the one where we started broadcasting again. But once we had you, Crispy, in the group, I think I had finally started conquering it and making.
It's so rare to see people that try to make the effort and say, you know what, I want to fucking better myself. Like, you see, like, people in this hobby, like, for 40 years, and they play the same way they played, like, when they were like 10-year-old, right? Just like
exactly.
So, and you're trying and you're making like huge. It's like leaps and bounds, right? Just like you from session to session now, like you don't do that anymore. You don't do like this.
And same with you, for Max. You know, like from the first get go. From it's such a everybody's doing such a massive improvement in this. I mean, even Spencer, has done some really leaps ahead.
Yeah.
I think every once in a while he gets caught up in this. This can happen to you, anybody out there. This can happen to you. You're involved with it and you're watching it, and then suddenly it clicks that you are watching a YouTube video, and now your brain is thinking that, oh, you're watching this. You're not a participant. You're watching it, and then you forget that you were actually playing it. And then when it comes to your turn, oh crap, So you
sometimes
can
it's possible. You can get so lost in the moment that that's true.
I mean, and you're watching the interactions with the other characters. Yeah, they can get you caught up in it, and suddenly All right.
Okay.
Like, watching that again, like, it's so like I was so fucking lost back then. And now, like, saying like, well, that, like, the exit was just right there, and like all, like, now knowing that what's coming up, all that, like, the fact that we went back and we went to fuck around somewhere else, like, we caused so much trouble.
It's so funny. I'm on all these podcasts, and in every podcast I'm on, I'm the only one that has clean shaven. Like, I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I think I'm all.
I wish I could grow. I can't grow a beard like you.
I'm a little bit more overgrown than this session. That was, and I had shaved when we came back. So
like the juvenile skin here, and then the men.
You can see Max's beard is completely gone.
He's got a good
couple
inch
inches at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
You maneuver yourself back through the women, children, and the few men that were captured, and make your way back into the corridor, which is a choice of a left or a right. You came from the left, your last moment. The right has the passageway, which you can see the streaks of blood on the floor. If it wasn't for you guys you're still involved in it, I would show the picture of how you were moving along in the passageways and everything, so you had an idea. You were like, oh my god, no.
I mean, there's a degree of realism there. Like, you don't have a map, so
we can go back there too. So
yeah. All right. So anything else that I have to run here, gentlemen? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Call it quits here real quick. But
No problem.
Is there something else that we want to look at here, or we want to just call it there and then come back to this if this is?
Yeah, I guess we can call it there for right now, and we can come back to maybe the part where you guys. The only other exciting part in this is when you guys came around to the other side and encountered the big bad in the in this part. But we'll get to that next time. But yeah. Thank you, Crispy, for coming on with us to explore this.
It was interesting to see this, and I have to say that I saw a lot of really good things here. Like I think there's excellent material here, and then I see a lot of me in what I see you doing, Rick. So this has been helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it might help in some way because I know you're trying to achieve that staying out of the players.
Absolutely. And it's hard to do. Like you're absolutely right. It's hard to do. It's so much easier to take editorial license on what should not be my domain. And just this is easier. I'll just move you around. No.
And Mr. Max, thank you for popping on in here and watching this. I am going to upload this session and send you guys private links so that you have access to it, so you can watch for your own leisure. Maybe you can pop up some interesting things that you might pick up on it. That you might want to talk about it when we do this next and ponder the session a little bit.
I'm really glad we did this, Rick, because as you know, we want to start doing our own kind of games and examples of games and one shots and trying to illustrate out there to the world what we're talking about.
And we're not perfect. We
obviously not.
We're trying to get there, and this is our us taking those steps to get where we are today, and let people know, hey, you got to practice this. It doesn't come naturally sometimes, but with the right teachers, maybe you can do things with role play. So alrighty.
You see, like when I was like proposing that we do, like we started uploading like one shot, few shot, whatever. Like for me, it was important that we had the conversation after, right? The discussion about like, okay, what went well, what could have been better, the mistake we made, and stuff like that. Because like that's like we're still in the process of trying to improve ourselves, get better at it. Like
that's right.
We want to reach the mythical 4D play.
Reach for that unattainable goal, but always reaching, and a time also to say, hey, this particular mechanic didn't work for me, or this I like this about this game, or I was into the setting, but I hated the rules, or I like the rules, or whatever it is.
I think we had a lot of discussions with our when you showed up with us, Crispy, kind of like what to do here. Should we use little call outs for this? And we tried different things in order to kind of experiment, and it was some interesting stuff, and we decided to drop a few things and keep a few things. So
and I like this experimental approach as well. It's worthwhile to try new things, to try different stuff, right?
It's the, what is it? You have a great word for that, right? It's the dialectic. Is that what you call it?
We try to figure out what's true, what works, what it's like. We try to get closer to truth.
That's right. Well, let's end this. Let's end this with hey guys,
thanks
you gotta go ahead and do that subscribe thing. So here we go once again.
Hey, since you made it this far in the video at the end, you may as well hit that subscribe button, because it's free. Honest, it's free. Just go ahead and hit it. I'm learning stuff. You are learning stuff. We all learn together. Subscribe. Just do it.